So going over the train tracks, this will really show you guys the suspension. So smooth. It's just incredible. And hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a 2022 Lexus LC 500 Coupe. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Lexus here in Murray for giving me some time with this LC 500. Check out the inventory in the description down below, and this one is available for sale right now. They also happen to have a used one as well, which is obviously going to be a little bit less expensive than the new one. So reach out to them if you're interested in either of them. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 16 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 471 horsepower and then 398 pound-feet of torque. And I absolutely love the display here of the engine. You guys can see with the carbon fiber here, and then obviously the Lexus logo there in the center. It looks fantastic. Now let's go with the front end of the LC 500. This one is finished in infrared, which is a really cool name for a red color. And the pre-owned one, if you guys are wondering, is basically the same color, but that one has a tan interior, whereas this one has a black interior. So anyways, you guys can see just the beautiful metallic flake here. And you can see when the sunlight hits, it just looks fantastic. Got these beautiful body lines here on the hood. And then we have the signature LC 500 lights with the running light here just down below. And then we've got another accent light down below that with some venting. And then we have the front grille here, which, as you guys can see, again, has that cool kind of like aggressive, but then also, you know, modern luxury look to it, with the Lexus logo there in the center. And then if I take a couple steps back, you guys can see the full front end view on this car, and it just has this low aggressive look, but then it also just has this luxurious appearance to it as well. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 45mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the front, and then in the rear we have two 75mm tires, again wrapped around 21-inch wheels, and this one has the rear steering. And then you guys can see here with the design on the wheels, you've got the black here in the center, you've got the silver there on top with the black brake caliper, which looks fantastic. And then you guys can see here with the mirrors, you got the two-tone design with the black on the top, silver in the middle, and then the red on the bottom. And then also the chrome trim right here, carbon fiber roof as well. Obviously got the pop-out door handles, and then here's your full side view on the LC 500. Now here is our key fob. You guys can see, got the Lexus logo there on the back. We have our lock, unlock, we've got the opening here for the trunk, and then we've got the horn release. So you can press that and then it'll pop it open. And then you guys can see here with the storage space. And this is one of the benefits of the LC 500, is actually has really good storage space here in the back. And then you've got the first aid kit there off to the side. And then underneath you guys can see more storage and all that. But yeah, overall great trunk space, and boom. Now finishing things here in the rear, since this one has the dynamic handling package, you have the deployable spoiler here in the back, which looks so cool. Got the Lexus logo with the LC 500 badge, and then you guys can see here with the taillights, they look absolutely fantastic. They do have that 3D effect on them at night, which I think is just a really cool look. Sorry, can't really see them too much because it's in the daytime, but you guys can see the turn signal off to the side. But yeah, cool 3D effects. Look at my other LC 500 reviews. I've reviewed a couple of these when it's like lower lighting, so you guys can actually see what they look like. And then you guys can see parking sensors here on the rear, and then you can see the exhaust coverings here with the exhaust tip there. It's kind of like a double look, which is interesting. And yeah, that is everything for the rear. Look at like the back, how that kind of like pops out a bunch. It looks really cool. Now before I go over the door panel, I want to show you guys the venting here off to the side, which definitely looks cool. Now here is the door panel. So you guys can see we've got this beautiful leather trim here. Look at the metallic trim down below, and then you got the Alcantara down below there, and look how it kind of flows in a wave type design. And then you can see here with the leather down below that, we've got all of the memory seat functions right here. We've got our window controls as well. The mirrors have blind spot monitoring. They are power folding, and you guys can see we've got forged carbon. This is new for the LC 500. I don't remember seeing this on the previous models. You can see the whole door panel has the forged carbon, which is definitely a cool aesthetic. And you guys can see the seats here. So first off, we'll kind of pop this seat forward so you guys can kind of see that whole setup. We do have rear seats. They're mainly just for storage is what I have to say. They've got, again, beautiful leather on them. You've got the Alcantara. You can see the stitching all over the seats as well. So it's a really nice place back there material wise. It's just that there's not a lot of legroom, as you guys can see. So again, kind of reserved for storage, similar to like a Porsche 911. But anyways, let's kind of look at these front seats here. So again, you can see the leather here with the perforated Alcantara here, and then you can see the leather on the sides. Looks fantastic. And then you can see here with the power adjustments there on the side, and then the carbon door seal Got the pedals down below with the metallic trim, all over leather and stitching right here with our heads-up display, the gas cap release, and then the trunk release. The steering wheel is automatically adjustable. There's a look at those paddle shifters right there. And there's one more look before we pop in. Here is the steering wheel. You guys can see you've got the smooth leather here at the top, and then at the bottom, perforated leather here on the sides to get a little bit of a better grip. And then I love how there's even leather around the airbag cover with the stitching. Now you guys can see you've got your volume and voice command controls on this side with the controls here for the center stack. We have our cruise control here on the other side with your lane keep assist and all that fun stuff. And again, the beautiful paddle shifters. Got our turn signal / light stock. We have our windshield wiper stock, and there's the whole steering wheel. Now here is the center gauge cluster, which is my favorite part here on the LC 500. So first off, you can move the gauge cluster to the side with the arrow button on the steering wheel. And notice there's a bunch of different menus you can scroll through here to see different bits of vehicle information, all that fun stuff, and then press it again and it'll move it back over. Now we do have a snow mode that you can go into. So if you want to do snow driving with this, and that is on the left stock right there. And then we've got our other drive modes. So we have a comfort mode, we have an eco mode. Probably never gonna drive in eco mode, let's be honest here, because it's an LC 500. And then you have your normal, and then you have your custom, and then this is the cool part, we have sport, and then you have Sport Plus, which fully changes the gauge cluster. Looks fantastic, and yeah, that's the drive modes. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we pop it in reverse. You guys can see a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. Notice we got the Lexus clock there off to the side. Now, this is not a touchscreen. It's controlled all via a keypad system. It's Lexus's more upgraded keypad, if that makes sense. Really easy to use. So like you guys can see going over the climate, for example, I can go up to the seats, and I can say, you know what, I don't want the heated steering wheel on, or I want it on. You can change all that kind of stuff. Overall, really easy system to use, and response time with this keypad, as you guys can see, is really quick, basically. And so, yeah, that's all for that. So we have some vents right here, and then you guys can see we've got our dual zone climate controls. Really nice material use, and then you can see all of the leather and stitching. And then we have our cup holder, which is interestingly placed, and then you have your little CD player. Got the shifter for that 10-speed automatic. We have our auto hold, and then this is for the spoiler to deploy it. And then you guys can see here for the control for the radio. Material use again is really nice, and then the Lexus keypad. And then notice that you have this little lever right here, and that's what lets you pull back the center console, so you can kind of open it up to this little like cup holder situation. We have an actual latch, and that's what allows you to open up the center console. You can see you've got 12-volt USB, all that fun stuff, and then just push the latch and push it forward. And then notice how like all the leather and stitching connects, which is cool. And then again, more padding here. And then if you press this, the glove box will open. You've got nice Alcantara on it, and there's leather on the outside of the glove box too. So like everything is really nice from a material standpoint. You can see here on the dash, and then Alcantara here at the very top. And notice how the lines connect with everything, so just beautiful from an interior standpoint. Popping here up to the top, you guys can see the mirror, and then you can see the headliner with the suede. Definitely looks really nice. And again, since this one has the carbon roof, there's no sunroof or anything like that. I'd rather have this set up just because the carbon roof looks really cool, and I don't know, I don't really feel like I'd need a sunroof in this car. I'd rather just, yeah, not. Anyways, everything is super nice material-wise. I mean, even back here, you can see it's soft touch. Like, it's crazy the attention to detail, but let's look at the window sticker. Now here is the window sticker for the LC 500. You guys can see here with the standard equipment that comes with the car. Now you can see the optional equipment on this particular one, but you guys can see the base price right here, and the options on this one. And the one that I would definitely recommend if you guys get, if you're going to get an LC 500, is this dynamic handling package. Definitely worth the money. And then you can see the total MSRP there, $106,975 for any type of market adjustment. And I want to mention this before we take this out and drive this, is these have obviously gone up in value quite a bit since COVID. And so this one, right, over $100,000 brand new, but the used ones are still going for like $80,000 now. And so, yeah, it's just, it's pretty crazy to see. But anyways, let's take it out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility of the hood, and you guys can hopefully now see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, which again have blind spot monitoring. And then throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So we are setting off here in the LC 500, and you guys know that Ben Hardy here, I know I'm talking third person, which is super lame, is a huge fan of the LC 500. First off, hope you guys can see the reflection there in the truck with the turn signal. Looks so cool. But yeah, just the feel of this is just so cool. Like, just the seats feel absolutely fantastic. Like, they're really comfortable. They've got nice bolstering, so like they hold you in place, but then they're also just super comfortable at the same time. And this interior is just amazing. Like, it's just this super nice upscale luxury interior, and so you just every second you're in this car, you just feel like you're experiencing this nice luxury experience, right? And getting up and actually moving here with the LC 500, first thing I want to mention, so smooth. Okay, you guys can see with the gear shifts, super smooth. And then from a ride quality standpoint, same thing. It's super smooth from a ride quality standpoint. This is one of the very few performance cars that just feels so comfortable that, like, you know, people say, oh, you can daily drive it. This, you truly could daily drive. Like, this could be your only car, as long as you live in a climate that allows you to, that it doesn't get too crazy with snow and everything. You really could daily drive this car. It is that comfortable from a seat perspective and from a ride quality perspective. Like, it gives you all of the luxury car stuff. It literally doesn't have like a stiff feeling in it, but because this has a rear steer, turn-in is amazing. And it's crazy. This car feels like, this is like 4,000 pounds, and it feels tiny when you're driving it around. Like, you feel like you're in this, you know, nice, like, substantial vehicle, right? But then when you turn it, it doesn't feel like you're turning this massive vehicle. So it's great. It's like you get the best of both worlds. So going over the train tracks, this will really show you guys the suspension. So smooth. It's just incredible. And gotta love the sound that this V8 makes. Now, you guys will probably notice the gear shifts are a little bit slower. As the transmission is getting fully warmed up, it actually kind of, it's interesting, the gear shifts are actually a little bit slower. But once the transmission is fully warmed up and everything, to where, like, you've gone and shifted quite a few times, right? And one way that you can do that with this transmission is just upshifting and downshifting, right? Just kind of get everything nice and moving, and then it's just super quick, super crisp. And you know, some people might not like that. I'm completely okay with it, because it's like, you know, cars got to warm up, right? So it's like, and it happens at a pretty quick rate, right? The thing that's interesting though is, if you have this car sitting and everything, like running, like what I've had, so like the engine temperature is already warmed up fully before I even took it out and started driving it. You have to do the same like warm procedure with the transmission, if that makes sense. But once it's all warmed up, this thing is just so smooth and so quick. This is my favorite transmission in any Lexus. Like, just the sounds that it makes. And look at this, just instant. Like, you guys can see the clicks with that. And we got a TRX, that's pretty cool. Just the sound. And it's instant, it's super smooth. Like, the vehicle does not get upset whatsoever. This reminds me of the Acura NSX, where that vehicle, because it has the electric motors, it torque fills the gear shift gaps. This obviously is not hybrid at all, but it feels so similar to the NSX with the gear shifts, where you don't feel them because they're so smooth and so crisp. Like, it's crazy. This is like a regular torque converter automatic. I don't know how Aisin did it, because Aisin's the maker of this transmission, but they somehow managed to do it. And so I guess that we'll get into selling things up here at the LC 500. First off, exterior wise, such a beautiful car. This is still to this day one of the best looking cars out there, and it just drives amazing. Like, it sounds great, right? And not only does it sound great, it performs flawlessly. And you know, this might not be the quickest car, but I don't feel like I need more power than what this has. I feel like it's got more than enough power to get up and move, and the sound is so thrilling that it's like, I don't care. I really like this setup. Just feels perfect. It feels like this car is like perfectly balanced, and with the rear steer, again, that helps out so much. It helps out so much with the handling. It just feels great. Yeah, so in turn, I mean, you know, for $100,000, especially in today's market, I can't think of any other car that's better than this right now. I know some people will comment C8 Corvette. This is rarer than the C8 Corvette because they're making a ton of those. Interior quality is much better, and This V8 sounds so much better than the V8 in the C8 Corvette. That's just my personal opinion. And so yeah, check this thing out. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Lexus LC 500. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Lexus here in Murray for giving me some time with the LC 500. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.